Peace and love, everybody out there. All praise and glory belongs to the Almighty Creator of the heavens and the earth. Thanksgiving is one of the reasons why World War III is coming to America to punish her for her sins to the Native Americans. You know, every year we got to get on Thanksgiving, so I want y'all to go ahead, pay attention, and listen up. Thanksgiving is the annual anniversary that the colonizers dedicate to giving thanks to the slaughter, genocide, Holocaust, invasion, annexation, and theft of land of the Native Americans. Thanksgiving means the descendants of the Englishman and the Englishwoman wiping out the Native Americans out of the land of America and establishing their evil, wicked sodomite kingdom over it, the daughter of Babylon. The most wicked nation on earth, which is America, was built on the blood and graves of the indigenous people. America is a satanic cursed society because she was born from evil and murder. America descends from the evil British Empire. The British came over here in the form of pilgrims to begin their colonization process. The first pilgrims came over here with smooth words, softer than oil, but war was in their hearts. Their ultimate motive was to kill the indigenous, steal their land, and rape their women. The dark-skinned Indians was killed or labeled as Negroes. The lighter ones, the offspring of white rapists, they were spared and pushed out of the land to migrate to reservations. The Mexicans are Native Americans also. They descend from the tribes of the Mayans and the Aztecs before the Spanish man came to kill them, robbed them, raped them, enslaved them, stole all of their gold and riches and made them speak Spanish. Just like black folks were the British man's property and we were being forced to speak English and take his English last names. All of this goes back to the British man's ancestors, the Anglo-Saxons, the Celtics, the sons of the Druids. And if you've been watching my past few videos, then we already know who the Druids are. They wore white robes and they used Hollywood as magic wands because it is the whitest wood. This is the source of white supremacy. So we understand where the British descend from. They descend from the priest of Satan, the priest of Halloween, the priest of murder and blood sacrifice, the priest of dark magic, sorcery, and necromancy. So we understand why they had no problem to illegally invade black and brown people's land, which is America, to kill them and take their land. These are the thieves and murderers of earth. These are the children of Druids that conquered America. Their satanic energy was passed down in their DNA, flowing all through their veins. The British Empire came over here and established 13 English colonies. And every time them colonies went out and slaughtered and massacred a Native American village, they will take all their food, their crop, their animals, and they will bring it back to their towns, and they will celebrate with the Thanksgiving feast. They will have the women all throughout the town come and take the food and prepare feasts, and they will enjoy and drink and dance and party and have a merry good old time because they just got finished killing a whole bunch of Native Americans and they got some food to eat to survive through the winter. You see, the colonizers were greedy. They wanted more land. They wanted to chase after gold. The colonizers worship gold and money. That's why the colonizers designed their dollar bill to include their evil gods. The colonizers killed the Native Americans in their greed for gold and land. Whenever they pushed the Native Americans out their land and they discover some gold in their new land, their new reservations, the Europeans, the colonizers, the white man would come to their new land and kick them out that land just so they could dig for gold. And he kept kicking them out all the way till they kicked them out to the West Coast. And another Thanksgiving symbol that the colonizers love is the turkey, which represents the war bonnet of the native's chief. It represents having his feathers plucked off his head. Even though they use golden eagle feathers, the headdress looks like the tail of a turkey. So the turkey represents the Native American. And now they get to devour the flesh of this brown Native American laying dead in the middle of their table. And the side dishes represents the crops that they stole from the natives. Everything about Thanksgiving is an evil ceremony and mockery of the Native Americans, and some of them were the tribe of Israel. Yeah, the Israelites were great people. They traveled to America before the Europeans. There were many Hebrew artifacts and writings and customs found all throughout Native American ruins. Israelites traveled to America way before Christopher Columbus and all the other evil European explorers that came over here. The emperor of the richest nation in Africa, Mansa Abu Bakr of the Mali Empire, he left his throne to go explore the Atlantic Ocean, and he gathered hundreds of ships and set off for an expedition and traveled to the Americas almost 200 years before Christopher Columbus came. His people established communities here already. The West Africans established communities in America and the Caribbean islands. The gold medal, artifacts, inscriptions, and even Malian-styled mosque from West Africa is found all throughout the Europeans and Mexico.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم ملك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
All this happened before the Spanish conquistadors came to rape, kill, and rob and force them to speak Spanish. All before the French came to rape, kill, and rob and force them to speak French. Before the Portuguese came to rape, kill, and rob and force them to speak Portuguese down in Brazil. And before the Englishman came to steal, kill, rape, rob, and force people to speak English. And the Europeans were evil enough to proclaim, "We discover America." How can you discover a land that has cities and civilizations of black and brown people already living here and well established? It is believed 100 million Native Americans lived in America before the white man came over here. How can you discover a land with 100 million people already living over here? You destroy an entire nation of people. And Brazil is baby Africa. America used to be baby Africa with a whole bunch of black folks and brown folks running around. And Mexico used to be baby Africa. The deeper you dig, the more melanated history becomes. Africans came to America first. Mali was the golden empire of Africa, the land of great knowledge and learning, where Timbuktu was located. Mali was the real Wakanda. And the Malians, they descend from the Israelites that fled Jerusalem and settled there and established one of the greatest empires Africa has seen since Egypt, Mali Empire. And the Mansas of the Mali Empire had great wealth, more wealth than any king in history outside of King Solomon, peace be upon him. The richest man in history was Mansa Musa. And the Malians, the West Africans, they traveled from West Africa to the Americas. Easy. Our ancestors had the knowledge and money and technology to build ships that can cross the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, the truth is coming out in these end days. I just want us to know that America is ours. We found it. Yet, we lost it when the demonic descendants of the Druids came over here with their Halloween evil magic and witchcraft and energy of murder, kill, kill. These people were murderers since the beginning. These people are the children of Satan, according to the Bible. And now we celebrate our defeat and our downfall every year with a feast. Thanksgiving is essentially the anniversary of killing Native Americans and enjoying their food and people stuffing themselves fat. Thank you, you dead Indians, for giving us your land and food to eat. That's essentially what people saying when they celebrate Thanksgiving. Stay woke, y'all. Stay woke to the annual curse that we are placing upon ourselves as a people by celebrating the defeat of our ancestors, because a lot of us descend from the Native Americans. A lot of black people descend from Native Americans. We mixed in with them. We made it with them. We married with them. They part of our history. And that's why we destroyed as a people, because every year we keep celebrating the destruction and theft and murder of our ancestors. I know. We don't care about the origins and history. We just want to eat good food. We just want our children to have a normal American brainwashed lifestyle living in the matrix of this la-la land dream world. We know we want to connect and bond with our family. This is a convenient time to do it. Everybody is off and traveling. We get holiday pay and blah, 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 blah. I understand all that. But you have 365 days out of the year to contact your family and plan and organize a family dinner. What about Passover? That's a feast ordained by the Most High Almighty. We need to start gathering together as a family under the Lord's feast, not over the white man's victory dinner of murder and theft of our ancestors, our brown, melanated, Native American distant cousins. Passover is neutral. I know some of us, we don't celebrate Easter. Some of us, we don't celebrate Eid or Ramadan, but we all can celebrate Passover. We all believe in the God of Moses, right? We all believe he conducted a mass genocide of the Egyptians on the night of Passover. We could sit up here and celebrate the white man's mass genocide of Native Americans, but we can't celebrate the Creator's mass genocide of the firstborn sons of the Egyptians who enslaved and oppressed our ancestors. We have to change that narrative. We have to change that mentality. We cannot follow after the ways of the slave master. We cannot follow after his customs and traditions. We cannot wait for him to give us the green light to gather together as a family so we can eat and bond and catch up on good times. Gather your family for the Lord. Get blessings instead of curses. Every year on Passover, we shall all get together. Go ahead and make your dishes, call off work, call off school for that day, bring your cooking skills, and we all eat lamb and whatever side dishes everybody else bring. Obviously, do not bring pork, especially chitlins. We still have our people today who are mentally destroyed. They still love to clean and eat chitlins for Thanksgiving and Christmas. We have to remove pork out of our diets as a people. It's forbidden to us. Eat lamb. It's a peaceful, clean animal. It represents righteousness and innocence. A turkey represents a dead Native American sitting in the middle of your table. It's disrespectful to eat a turkey on Thanksgiving. Stop celebrating the curses of Deuteronomy 28 that fell upon our people. Let's get into scripture. Deuteronomy 28:15, the curses of disobedience. But it shall come to pass, if you do not obey the voice of your Lord your God, to observe carefully all his commandments and his statutes which I command you today, that all these curses will come upon you and overtake you. Verse 21, the Lord will make the plague cling to you until he has consumed you from the land which you are going to possess. The Lord will strike you with consumption, with fever, with inflammation, with severe burning. Consumption is another name for TB, tuberculosis. TB was the primary killer of the Native Americans, amongst other diseases. Other symptoms described in this particular verse relates to smallpox. The Aztec Empire and what we call today Mexico was destroyed because of a feverish plague that killed millions of them in 5 years. Also, Hernan Cortez, another evil Spanish conquistador, he killed off the remaining Aztecs. Hernan Cortez and his men brought the plagues with them. Two priests who wrote a letter to King Charles of Spain in 1519 reported that a third of the natives had been stricken. It has pleased our Lord to bestow a pestilence of smallpox among the said Indians, and it does not cease. The U.S. government also gave blankets that was laced with smallpox to the Native Americans. It is estimated that smallpox killed another 500,000 Native Americans. Let's continue. With the sword, with scorching, and with mildew, they shall pursue you until you perish. Verse 25. The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You shall go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. The Spanish conquistadors and the U.S. Army, they killed the natives with swords and scorching, which is the guns and the cannons exploding, and they defeated them and made them flee. So we see clearly that the Native Americans are fitting these curses that fell upon them. But there's more. Verse 27. The Lord will strike you with the boils of Egypt, with tumors, with the scab and the itch from which you cannot be healed. That's more symptoms of smallpox. Boil, scab, itch from which you cannot be healed. Verse 30. You will pledge to be married to a woman, but another man will take her and rape her. You will build a house, but you are not to live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but you will not even begin to enjoy its fruits. Your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes, but you will eat none of it. So we see the Native Americans and black folks and Hispanics went through all of these curses. Our women was raped. We built houses that we couldn't live in. We planted vineyards and gardens and crops, and we had our fruit stolen. We had our produce stolen. And Your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes, but you will eat none of it. The U.S. troops and the settlers, they kill millions and millions of buffaloes, which are in the ox family, to starve out the Native Americans, cutting off an important source of food, and they use a skin for clothing, so they couldn't have no clothing no more, so they had to freeze in the winter. Look at this picture right here. You have a pile of millions and millions of ox just dead, just piled up. One U.S. general said, kill every buffalo you can. Every buffalo dead is an Indian gone. Buffalo had once numbered more than 30 million, and by the end of the 19th century, there are only a few hundred in the wild. Today, some 20,000 to 25,000 remain in public herds. Right now, as we speak, we are supposed to be able to look outside of our windows and see herds of buffalo walking around. This is why the Creator has to destroy America. She did nothing but wickedness and slaughter on earth. How evil of a people do you have to be to walk around killing millions of buffaloes just so the natives will starve to death? Verse 32. Your sons and daughters will be given to another people. Verse 33. A nation whom you have not known shall eat the fruit of your land and the produce of your labor, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed continually. You shall beget sons and daughters, but they shall not be yours, for they shall go into captivity. Verse 49. The Lord will bring a nation against you from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose language you will not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which does not respect the elderly, nor show favor to the young. And they shall eat the increase of your livestock and the produce of your land until you are destroyed. We can keep going on and on dropping verses, but we understand these curses fell on the Native Americans and the so-called Negroes and the so-called Hispanics. And we all have the same enemy. North America, Caribbean, Central America, and Brazil all have the same enemy, the Europeans, the descendants of the Europeans, the colonizers. The Europeans, they dogged our ancestors in the Americas. Their only mission was to destroy us. Deuteronomy 28 tells us over and over again that our enemy wants to destroy us. The Europeans, they stole land, ate up the crops, the produce, they took the animals, and they kicked the natives out. They killed them, diseased them, put them in plantations and reservations. The colonizers had no respect for the elderly or the youth. So I will speak out against Thanksgiving until our people abandon this wicked day. If you want to see your family, then have a Passover dinner. Let's read Amos 5:21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. The Creator of the heavens and the earth is telling us he hates feast days. He don't want to smell in our solemn assemblies, our family gatherings. Let's continue. Though you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beast. Today, I was talking to my 8-year-old niece and explaining to her the history of Thanksgiving and what the white folks did when they came to America to kill the natives. And when I mentioned that they held a Thanksgiving feast to celebrate their victory, she cut me off and said, Allah won't accept that feast. Then she repeated it. Allah won't accept their prayers over that food. It kind of shocked me to hear her say that because she never read this verse before. But it's common sense, even from a babe's mouth. The truth come out of the mouths of the babes. Even the child can understand that this is a wicked feast that God won't accept. People are gathering around, making a prayer and offering this turkey to the Most High God Almighty, and he won't accept it. He hates Thanksgiving. He hates feast days. He hates feast that has evil origins. It's simple. The word of the Most High applies to all times. Whatever pagan feast that the ancient Israelites practiced during their time, he hated it. And today, Thanksgiving feast falls under the same category. He hates it. Habakkuk 2:12 says, woe to him that builds a town with bloodshed and establish a city by iniquity. American cities are built with blood and established with iniquity, sin, crime, evil. The U.S. government broke 15 treaties with the Native American tribes. The government is a lying, evil, satanic pack of criminals who will deceive you, sign a treaty with you, then backstab you. So woe unto him. Woe means doom, death, destruction, sorrow. There will be woe coming to America. Let's read Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were drawn swords. The pilgrims came with smooth words, smiling, friendly, jolly, yet war was in their hearts. Jeremiah 50:33 says, this is what the Lord of heaven's army says. The children of Israel were oppressed along with the children of Judah. All who took them captive have held them fast. They have refused to let them go. You see, Israel has 12 tribes, and 10 of them were exiled and carried away into captivity to the Assyrian Empire to be slaves to the Assyrians. The other 2 tribes, the tribe of Benjamin and the tribe of Judah, they stayed in the land of Israel and they formed the kingdom of Judah with some of the Levites. Nobody knows what happened to the 12 tribes, and nobody knows where the Native Americans came from. So put 2 and 2 together. It's no coincidence that the natives and the so-called Negro have the same exact enemy, oppressed in the same land together. The Ego Nation who brought the curses to us. The Spanish were the first ones to notice that the Native Americans practiced a lot of Jewish customs. Then for centuries, many writers began to put the pieces together. Let's read 2nd Esdras 13:41. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanazar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel amongst themselves that they will leave the multitude of the heathen, and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they enter into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely, of 1.5 years, and the same region is called Arsareth. Then they dwelt there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come. So the northern tribe, the 10 tribes of Israel, they was kicked out of Israel by the Most High. He used the Assyrian Empire to capture them and imprison them. The Almighty Lord always uses another nation to punish the children of Israel whenever they break those laws. After serving slavery in Assyria, the 10 tribes came together and consulted amongst each other and said, hey, we need to start following the laws of Moses. So they vowed to migrate to a land that mankind never dwelt before. They entered into the Euphrates River. The Most High showed them signs, the stars, to use as navigation. He held still the flood, which is the oceans, which are the result of Noah's flood. He held the water still so they could travel at ease and calm. And after they traveled 1.5 years, they reached Arsareth, which means another land, which is the ancient name for the Americas. And they spread all throughout South America, Central America, the Caribbeans, and North America. Another landmass, another continent that no man has dwelt before, that no man knew existed. Why were the natives punished? They began to worship other gods, and they began to worship nature and spirits. They began to do blood sacrifices of humans, and over the centuries they just abandoned the laws of the Torah, and they lived astray in the Americas. So the Most High sent a white man to come punish and destroy them as he promised he would in Deuteronomy 28. After the white man got finished beating up on the natives, he came to get the tribes of Judah out of Africa. Our ancestors thought that we could flee into Africa and hide from the curses, but the same European colonizers came and got us too, and dragged us over here to America and destroyed us too, fulfilling the curses. And America has served its purpose. And now here we are, staring the year 2023 in the face at the end of our 400 years in America. And we see events leading up to the thermonuclear destruction of American cities. Stay prayed up, stay bowed down, stay repentant, stay watchful and vigilant in these end times. Stay away from all these pagan holidays. Stay away from all these evil feasts that's built on the blood of Native Americans and black people. I'm out, y'all. I want y'all to go ahead and press like and subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss out on my future videos, so you will be getting a notification whenever I drop my next video, because we got a lot to talk about in my upcoming videos. I'm out. I love y'all. Peace. Thank you for listening.
Special message. It's Thanksgiving Eve back home. Special message to our fans. I don't particularly celebrate Thanksgiving, but anybody that's getting together with their family, blessings to all of you guys. Enjoy the holidays. It's not a holiday for me, but please enjoy the food for me.
Thanks.